on the Curvy Couch, live from the mezzanine level. It's Geraldo.
Good morning. Good morning. Delightful to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
All right.
That hurts my feelings.
Hey, the president has been up, and he's tweeting this morning. There are big announcements coming down. We're going to hear more about Manafort today. We're probably going to hear what Michael Cohen gave the feds as well. And this is one of the president's many tweets this morning.
It says, will Robert Mueller's big-time conflicts of interest be listed at the top of his Republicans-only report? Will Andrew Wiseman's horrible and vicious prosecutorial past be listed in the report? He wrongly destroyed people's lives, took down great companies, only to be overturned 9-0 in the United States Supreme Court. Doing the same thing to people now, will all of the substantial and many contributions made by the 17 angry Democrats to the campaign of crooked Hillary be listed in top of report?
A couple of
kind of a best of rant.
Really, it sounds rantish, but I understand his frustration. I mean, he's doing so well objectively in terms of trade, in terms of the economy, in terms of how America is faring, that he's very frustrated that he has this cancer. This, the special prosecutor Mueller has been on his case from the very beginning, almost since May of 2017. This week, we'll now, as Steve, as you referenced, we'll see the sentencing memo for Paul Manafort. How exactly did Paul Manafort lie and break his agreement with the special counsel? We'll also see Michael Cohen's sentencing report. You know, what did the snitch exactly tell? How much hot water will he has created for the president? So this is a big week, and this is the day. It has to be by federal court order by 5 o'clock today. We must see those sentencing memos. So we should get some clarity as what the special counsel has against the president.
I just hope Trey Gowdy brings his A game, because he has a lot of questions. He has been read in. He's in 2 separate committees, Intel and Judiciary, and he has the details. So behind closed doors, he could do follow-up questions. We could get to this. The other thing about the president...
Wait, one thing about Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy is retiring, so he's only got 3 weeks, 4 weeks at most to do whatever he's going to do. You've got the holidays in between. What's he going to do in this very, very short amount of time? I think this is his last hurrah.
Right, but he can pin him to the ground. If he's a good prosecutor with a series of follow-up questions, he could finally try to get answers.
Comey is way too slick for that, in my opinion. He'll be very combative.
He has no answer for everything.
He's got an answer for everything. He's very schooled. Remember, he did his book tour. So he's been asked every question.
But stuff came out after the book. A lot of this stuff came out after his book.
Give me one example that you think Comey cannot answer.
How about this? Either he's lying or Strzok is lying about Hillary Clinton's emails when he was informed that they were on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Why you said what you were going to say. Strzok says that you told him 3 weeks ago, and then you said you didn't find out until 2 days before.
Congressman, my best recollection is that I didn't see it until...
So you calling Peter Strzok a liar?
I don't think that James Comey will hesitate to call Peter Strzok a liar, call anyone a liar who disagrees with him.
Okay. What about preferential treatment to the Hillary Clinton staffers like Cheryl Mills?
Excuse me. We all know about that, though. Ainsley, we all know that Hillary was given a pass even before she was interviewed. We know that.
But
I think that he's paid the political consequences. But why? Because he'll make up some reason. Why? Because it did not appear to me that there was a significant case. It did not appear to me that there was substantial evidence. You know, he can, when you're playing out the clock, it's very easy for an articulate, experienced hand to just push it away, Don't expect him to say, okay, I confess.
What's the insurance plan? Is you the worst CIA director ever, and there was an insurance plan plotting and planning underneath you? Or you are leading the charge? You're the conductor of the insurance plan?
Congressman, I must tell you again, as I have testified previously, as I wrote in my book, I made the best decision based on the evidence I had at the time. He's too squirmy for you to nail Comey. Don't expect anything.
And you know what, Geraldo, that's one of the reasons I think Jim Jordan was on this program earlier this week, and he said, we asked him a little bit about James Comey coming in today, and he said, you know, he's going to come in, but I would rather see Rod Rosenstein, because Rod Rosenstein is the guy who knows all the secrets. And remember, it was coming up on a month now ago, he was supposed to go up in front of at least 2 members of Congress. It was going to be kind of off the record. He was going to answer some questions. He balked at that. They still haven't heard from him because he's the guy who knows how it all works.
If I was in charge of the president's legal strategy right now, what I would be focused on are none of the minutiae, none of these side players. What I would be focused on is the special counsel himself. Put up or shut up.
Which
this has been
tweeting
this
today.
Exactly. This has been 2 years. Do you have any evidence that I colluded with the Russians or not? Isn't it time for the American people finally to see what was the reason for this disruption that has really preoccupied our republic now?
What do they
the
do
entire
with
Trump
the sentencing documents? We already saw that with Michael Flynn earlier this week, I guess, or the end of last week. What do they do with those sentencing documents?
Well, it'll say that Michael Cohen was extremely cooperative, that he rolled over, that he gave us even more information that we need. So we recommend no jail time for Michael Cohen. I believe that Paul Manafort will get slammed
but
again, but he's already a convicted felon.
A judge will make the ultimate decision?
Oh, no. You mean in terms of
sentence?
Well, a judge will make the decision strongly influenced by the recommendations of the special counsel. Right. If the special counsel says, Brian cooperated, he told us everything, we have no reason to believe he's withholding any, we ask you not to sentence him to prison. Judge will have to say, unless the judge is a real rebel, which is very, very rare, I think that Cohen gets a pass. He has succeeded in ratting out his boss in a way that I think violated the lawyer-client privilege in a grotesque way.
He was out to save his skin.
He not only, but to save his skin and be his lawyer at the same time is very, very, very.
He was taping him before he was indicted.
And that's what I worry about. Did anyone tape the president? Did anyone wear a wire? For these 2 years, and during the campaign also, once Michael Flynn, for instance, a heroic military figure before he became national security analyst, did he wear a wire after he was nabbed, before the president knew that he was in trouble? Did he have candid conversations with his boss? And is it not? I mean, I think that it could represent a peril. And I also don't know what Michael Cohen has turned over to the Southern District of New York about Trump's business deal.
Right, and the payoffs. We're going to find out more by 5 o'clock. You'll see it all live here on the Fox News channel. In the meantime, Geraldo, I'm sure you've seen it. You've commented on it on television. There is a crisis at the southern border, according to the White House. And if you look at the number of people who have been arrested year over year in November, look at that. Back in 2017, almost 30,000. And look at November 2018, almost 52,000. That is close to an 80% spike in people trying to get here illegally.
Very easy explanation. Number one, I think there is real fear south of the border that the wall will finally be constructed. So they want to scramble over before it's too late. The second thing is the economic disparity between Central America and the United States has grown in the last year. The United States economy continues to thrive. The Central American economy in disarray, the government's dysfunctional, basically failed states in Honduras, for example, in El Salvador. So you have people who are trying to do their best to feed their families. They are desperate to get over. That's what caused the migrant caravan. It wasn't any insidious conspiracy. It was people trying to feed their families. They're desperate. They are economic refugees. They don't qualify for asylum. The vast majority of them, upon getting a hearing, will be rejected. But there is a desperation that we have to recognize. I think this is the time, right now, where Congress must get together. Let President Trump have his wall. He has earned it. Elections have consequences. That wall should be built. At the same time, the president can offer the Democrats amnesty for the dreamers.
Nancy
the youngsters
Pelosi says she doesn't care.
They don't care anymore.
I think they must care, and I think the president should harp on that. I am offering freedom and citizenship for 1 million-odd youngsters brought here through no fault of their own.
Nancy Pelosi just rejected
she
it.
said
Well,
no.
it's on tape.
She has changed her mind several times, as Chuck Schumer has changed his mind. This was a deal that they agreed to tacitly last year. Now they're disagreeing because they're sticking it to the president.
Because the courts have upended the president's push to kick out DACA kids.
Well, although that may be part of the reason she feels empowered, remember that decision at the lower court now gets bumped up, and I think the president will enjoy the same success he has up until now on these other migrant-related issues in the Supreme Court of the United States.
The meter is running. They've got to do something.
The meter is running because you got 3 weeks to do it all.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
You get a piece of that 3 milk cake.
I like the looks of it.
All right. In the meantime, it's 8:11 here in New York City, and right behind you, Carly has a story about MS-13.
That's right. Good morning to you all. An MS-13 gang member in the U.S. illegally will spend 30 years behind bars for a brutal machete murder. Walter Antonio Argueta Amaya and 3 other gang members hacked a man nearly 150 times in Virginia last summer. Now, they were angry at the victim for saying their gang doesn't make the rules in America. Amaya, who's from El Salvador, will be deported after he's released from prison. The violent protests in France have created a monster. That's the word from the French Prime Minister as the country braces for more riots this weekend. France deploying nearly 90,000 police officers across the country and closing major tourist sites like the Eiffel Tower. Protesters started demonstrating weeks ago against a proposed tax hike. That plan has been scrapped, but rioters now have more demands. And have you ever gotten a CVS pharmacy receipt that is really long? Well, this guy did, and check out what he did with it. Andrew Nolan using the receipt and coupon to fix a broken blind. To his surprise, it fit perfectly, and that picture has gone viral online. From receipt to home decor.
It's because we can all relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the longest receipts you've ever seen in your life. And
well, there's a lot of stuff on it.
Right, they're great, because sometimes you'll get the $5 coupon.
That's right. You're like, ooh, a free lean cuisine. That's just what I wanted.
Or pizza rolls.
That's right.
Thank you, Carly. All right, meanwhile, we got a Fox News alert at 8:12 New York time. President Trump is expected to tweet his pick to replace the United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley any moment now. We are live at the White House with reaction.
Plus, Pete Hegseth here with a preview of his interview with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Stuart Varney on the November jobs report. That is coming up as the job report is about to be released.